Hey Sp4zie, how are you so positive? Hello YouTube, Sp4zie coming right at you. And that is one of the more common questions I get asked a lot. And I thought I'd discuss this topic in this video. I got a little bit inspired last night because when I was streaming we got onto the discussion of jobs. And these two topics sort of relates to each other a little bit. So get yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and hopefully enjoy. So on the topic of positivism and the channel and me, there is something that needs to be said before we go into anything else, and that is when you are comparing yourself to something you watch, be it Twitch, YouTube, or any media in general, you are seeing a glorified version of reality. So take my channel for instance. My channel is very much built around the idea of having some light-hearted fun. In best cases, evoking a little smile by the use of silly and different levels of immature humor, let's put it that way. And that works very well for me because it is very close to who I am as a person. But you also need to remember that, of course, I do have games where I want to smash my keyboard and scream in frustration. If anyone plays any game to the extent of which I play League, I'm sure that then they'll say the same thing. But if that happens, I'm probably not going to be live streaming. It's probably not going to be in my next video. And this is why you'll see that a good 80% of the games that turns into epic moments episodes on the channel are games that we win. Because when we win, we have more fun. When we have more fun, we start talking to each other and we start laughing and doing those things that you guys enjoy watching more. And that's just how it is. However, I do still like to think that I am not an angry person. I do not easily get upset. I see myself as an optimist. Maybe a stupid one of that, I don't know. And I might need way more lost games behind me before I start ruining that expensive gaming keyboard in front of me. So that out of the way, how am I so positive? A lot of people tend to say when they get asked this that, this is who I am. This is me as a person. Same thing goes if you might be a little bit more negative. You go, this is me. I've always been like this. This is who I am. To me, that's just not how I see it. To me, having a positive outlook on life is a very conscious choice that I fight to keep almost on a daily basis. Because honestly, and I hope I don't offend anyone by saying this, but it's way easier to become a cynical person. It's way easier to let that feeling become a big part of your life, and that feeling comes naturally to everyone. And it doesn't matter what you do. For me, I work with YouTubing and Twitch, and with this weird and lovely profession, I get to hear a lot of voices, and a lot of them are awesome, some of them are not so awesome. And I have to fight to keep these provocative things that constantly, flies around me to keep my way of life, if you will. And to answer the question how I do that, I'd argue that the best way is to instead ask me, why do I do it? And to me, that ties into this wonderful word called ambition. Ambition is a strong tool. So we got into talking about jobs yesterday on the live stream, and I started thinking a bit about it. Why is it that so many jobs in general tend to suck? There might be a status hierarchy on what jobs are considered good or bad or real or fake, but at the end of the day, that list is made by idiots for idiots, and you don't want to be one of them. Your job might be awful, it might be awesome, but either way, it's for you to decide and you alone. But it's way more common to hear people nag about their jobs than it is the other way around, isn't it? Jobs are generally what we do with our lives, like most of the time, except sleeping, I guess, that's up there. Why is it that so many jobs sucks? And this is where I consider my mindset to be very important to me and why I've kept fighting for it for so long. I've had a lot of jobs in the past, and I don't want to go back to any one of them, but I was enjoying all of them. I enjoyed working doing the dishes at a cafe. I enjoyed working at the grocery store, and I enjoyed working with telephone marketing, being that guy who calls people in their free time, being annoying. I enjoyed that. And the fact that I did has shaped me into who I am. And who I am is no one special, I guess, but I am a guy who is able to make a living off of his hobbies, so I guess in this scenario that counts for something at least. So how did I enjoy it? No matter what job I had, I always had ambition. And ambition is not necessarily, I want to climb to the top and earn this amount of money, blah, blah. It can be that, and that's great if that's what works for you. But for instance, I had the ambition when I worked in the grocery store that even though the pay was crap and the work hours sucked balls, I wanted to make at least one customer smile or have a little bit of a better day, or maybe laugh a little bit before they, exit the place. I also wanted to make sure that the boss or whoever I worked with was happy with me and impressed with the work that I did, even though what I did was stacking oranges in a big pile. Insert Gangplank reference here. When I fulfilled these goals, I was happy and I felt like this was a great day. You know, I can't wait for tomorrow. And I don't know about you guys, but if there's a possibility that I can have that feeling when I go to bed every single night, then I'm a fight for that. That sounds pretty good to me. You know, a positive attitude is hard, I'd argue impossible to force yourself having, but if you're a little bit clever about it, and if you have the right mindset, you can maximize your chances of getting there and feeling it naturally. Using ambition as a tool to reach happiness is why I very seldom wake up feeling like today is gonna be a crappy day. Going into a game as Rammus and losing can still be awesome, because my ambition might have been to make cool plays with Righteous Glory and somehow miraculously survive the fight. This has been Sp4zie, and I'm out. Dudes!